Study Session 11. The Expectancy Reinforcement Value Model of Julius Rother. Introduction. In this study session, you will explore one of the social behavioral theories of personality, among others as propounded by Julius Rother. We will examine the two major trends of reinforcement and cognitive approach to understanding behavior, upon which Rother based his theory. He holds that much of our behavior is learned, and that behavior is acquired through our experiences with other people. When you have studied this session, you should be able to 1. Point out whether behavior is learned or otherwise. 2. Explain how behavior varies according to the magnitude of available reward, otherwise called expectancy ratio. And 3. Describe Rother's assessment techniques. Behavioral theories of personality. The expectancy reinforcement value model developed by Rother, 1954, followed the principles of learning that emphasize that behaviors are learned and acquired from experiences in our relationship with others, in our social environment. In addition to the learning principle, Rother also suggested the investigation of people's antecedents in order to understand their present behavior. However, it does not probe too deeply into the past experiences before decision is reached, unlike the Freudian school of thought, Rother, Chance, and Ferris, 1972. In the submission of Rother, Chance, and Ferris, there is interdependence of personality, whereby a person's experiences and interactions continually influence one another. Specifically, past experiences influence current experiences, and current experiences change the things learned in the past. In a similar development, Katkovsky, 1968, states that different behaviors are functionally related, and they all operate to secure the same outcome. In his theory, Rother endorses the empirical law of effect. In other words, he assumes that our behavior is goal-directed, and reinforcement is an important factor in such motivation. Generally, we strive to maximize rewards and minimize or avoid punishment. Rickman, 1997. The social learning approach is central to the expectancy value model, and it is based on 4 major concepts: behavior potential, expectancy, reinforcement value, and the psychological situation. This approach is aptly summed up in the words of Rother that the potential for behavior to occur in any specific situation is a function of the expectancy that the behavior will lead to a particular reinforcement in that situation and the value of that reinforcement. Fundamental concept of Rother's theory. Some concepts are fundamental in Rother's theory. They explain thus: 1. Behavior potential. According to Rother et al., 1972, there is the potential of any behavior occurring in any situation or situations as calculated in relation to any single reinforcement or set of reinforcements. This implies the probability of an individual responding in a particular way when certain environmental conditions are present. 2. Expectancy. This is a belief about the property of some events which can vary in magnitude and are subject to modification by experience. 3 postulations are derived from the social learning theory, according to Rother, 1982. These are: 1. Simple cognition or labeling of stimuli. In bracket, I think that painting is a Picasso. Close bracket. 2. Expectancies for behavior reinforcement outcomes. Open bracket. If I wear my 3-piece pre-recording suit, my employees will compliment me, close bracket. And 3, expectancies for reinforcement sequence, open bracket. If I graduate from college, I will probably get a high-paying job and become wealthy and respected, close bracket. Concept 3, reinforcement value. Reinforcement value is defined as the degree of preference for any one of a group of reinforcement to occur, if the probabilities of all occurring were equal. Simply put, reinforcement value refers to the importance we attach to different activities. And lastly, the 4th concept, psychological situation. This point takes into consideration prediction of behavior as defined from the individual's personal perspective. In this regard, both situational and dispositional factors are taken as influences on behavior. How unique past and current experiences influence behavior. Rotter's assessment techniques. The experimental method was the first major tool that Rotter used to test hypotheses derived from the social learning approach. He attempted to study whether people learn tasks and perform differently in situations in which they perceive reinforcement outcomes to be related or unrelated to behavior. The result obtained from this pioneering effort suggested that reinforcement effects do not have a direct impact on behavior, but are mediated by the person's perception of the relationship, or lack of it, between behavior and application of the reinforcement. Rotter, 1966. Rickman, 1997. Apart from the experimental method of assessment, Rotter also advanced 5 other major techniques for personality measurement in clinical setting. 1. The interview. This is useful in the assessment of personality traits, counseling and therapeutic purposes. 2. Projective tests. These include the Rorschach Thematic Apperception Test, TAT, and Incomplete Sentences Blank. Responses to these tests are assumed to indicate underlying conflicts that determine expectancy levels of failure in given situations. Rotter, 1954. 3. Controlled behavioral tests. These are situations whereby people are placed in actual situations and their behavior is assessed in reaction to stimulus changes engineered by the investigator. Rotter, 1954. 4. Behavioral observation methods. This involves the relatively informal assessment of behavior by observers in natural settings. Rotter, 1954. And 5. The questionnaire. The questionnaire are used to test social learning hypotheses using pencil and paper option. Study session summary. In this study session, we have discussed Julius Rotter expectancy reinforcement value model. In the process, we notice the central claims of the model, examine the basic concept involved in the model, and explain the assessment techniques used by Rotter in his research as personality formation. End of study session 11. Thank you for listening.